I don't know about you guys, but cutting vegetables is not my cup of tea, and especially with a dull knife. So, the key to making this experience more enjoyable and the prepping easier, you need to have a sharp knife. So, let me show you real quick how I go about sharpening my knives. I use two whetstones, one with two faces. This one, 400 and 1000 grit, as you can see the two shades there. And the other whetstone is 3000 grit. So anything less than 1000 grit is typically used to repair knives, and anything between 1000 and 3000 grit is used to sharpen dull knives. Before you start using the whetstones, you gotta soak them in water for some time. And as you can see here, the whetstone is absorbing the water. Let the whetstones soak for about 2 minutes, that should be good enough. So this is the setup I did. I screwed the whetstone holder on top of a 2x4 piece of wood, and I placed it snug on top of the kitchen sink so it doesn't move while I'm sharpening the knives. And that's really important. You want to make sure that when you're sharpening the knife, it is not moving whatsoever. A lot of people just put that rubber whetstone holder on top of a counter, and when it starts getting wet, it starts getting really slippery. And so you want to make sure so you don't cut yourself, that this thing doesn't move at all as you're sharpening a knife. So you want to start with the lowest grit, and in this case this is a 400 grit stone that I'm using. The other important thing to keep in mind, make sure to hold the blade at a 15-degree angle while you're sharpening. As you're sharpening, you're going to notice black debris. This is normal. So what you want to do is keep rinsing the knife and the stone to make the sharpening go a lot smoother. And make sure you're sharpening both sides of the knife. Keep switching back and forth until you feel that they're both sharp enough. So I did this for about 2 to 3 minutes. Depending on how dull the knife is, you can decide how long do you want to keep doing it. The next step is to switch to the 1000 grit stone. All you need to do is just flip the stone to the other side and do the same thing for about 2 to 3 minutes as well. And next I'm going to switch to the 3000 grit stone, and that would be the last step that you need to do to complete sharpening your knife. And now let's test how sharp it got. I'm going to be demonstrating cutting a tomato. I'm using this dull knife I haven't sharpened yet. As you can see, I'm applying force, and still with that, it's not going through. This one, the one we sharpened, no force applied whatsoever, and it's slicing through the tomato very easily. I'm also able to peel the skin very easily, as you can see, which is really hard to do if the knife is not sharp. The other test that people usually do is try to cut through a paper. If you're able to cut through a paper, that means you sharpen the knife really well, like in this case. And if your knife doesn't cut through the paper, like in the case of this dull knife, that means you have to go back and sharpen it a little bit more. And that's all there is to it, guys. So don't be discouraged or reluctant. You'll get the hang of it after doing it for a few times. I hope this was helpful, guys. Happy sharpening, and most importantly, be safe.